my people, how you doing? I hope you're having a goddamn great day. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing how you can replicate an Al Nassr realistic career mode startup. Of course, we'll be talking about a few signings you can look to make, a few players that you might look to try and shift out of the door, as well as a potential of where you might be able to set up a scouting network for the youth academy for the stars of tomorrow. Of course, with Al Nassr, they don't really have a realistic stadium in the game, so therefore, I'll show you guys how you can best replicate the best possible realistic in-game stadium to try and, make it into Al Nassr's real-life, realistic-looking type stadium. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button down below, subscribe if you are new, and let's hop on straight into the goddamn video. Okay, so it's a shameless plug moment, but a few hours ago, I did go ahead and make and create the 4-2-3-1 wide realistic tactics that the likes of yours truly, Al Nassr, use in real life. They used this last night to absolutely batter the likes of Inter Miami, so go ahead, check those tactics out. Leave a like, a comment if you would like to in that video as well. I will link it at the end of this one for you guys to go and check out. So, taking a look at the team as a whole, we've got the likes of David Ospina in the final 12 months of his deal. Maybe you can try and sign somebody else. Another goalkeeper, a Keylor Navas, maybe, I don't know. We have obviously also spoken about him in the Inter Miami one, but he could be linked with a move to Saudi Arabia. Of course, the goalkeeping options aren't the greatest, aren't the best, but they aren't too bad to be fair. Into your left back area though, we've got Alex Telles as well as a few other players in and around. Look, in terms of the left back, I think Telles is a very suitable, solid option, but maybe looking for a better backup could be a potential thing that you look to add to your shopping list when you go looking in Europe. As for the players in and around them, of course, the centre-backs have got Laporte, recently signed from Manchester City for, like, what was it, like 30 million or so? A very good player, very good player. Scored from way beyond the halfway line last night, which was crazy to me. But again, looking for a better suited defensive partner for him could be a possibility. I mean, El Almiri did start last night, I'm pretty sure he did, and he is more or less the player that does start next to him. But again, you need a bit more quality if you are going to try and contend to try and win the Saudi Arabian League, as well as maybe, trying to show that you are a very serious team to the other European clubs, which is essentially what the Saudi Arabian sides are trying to do. As for your right back area, they are linked with a whole host of different right backs, which we will talk about later, but nonetheless, you've got El Ghanem, who I think is a very solid option. So if you do bring in a better right back, he could be a very good option off the bench. He can play as a left back or a right back as well, which is a very useful option. And now into the midfield. Of course, Marcelo Brozovic also recently brought in a very solid DM. And then, of course, we've got his midfield partner in Seko Fofana, which is somewhere down here. Apparently, he is leaving. Therefore, he needs to be put to the transfer list. Apparently, he is joining Steven Gerrard's side, but we'll talk about that as well. But yes, we've got the likes of Brozovic and a few other players. I'm not going to try and pronounce their names or butcher them or make fun of myself because I can't pronounce them. I know how to pronounce Al Hassan though. But like this man right here, a good solid option off the bench to potentially bring in a late game situation to maybe rest the likes of Brozovic or Fofana, or maybe the player that you are bringing in to try and replace Fofana. Of course, onto your wider areas now. We've got the likes of Sadio Mane recently also joining from Bayern München, a very good player. He's linked up very well with Ronaldo and Talisca up front at times. He's done a very, very solid job since coming to Al Nassr. So he's a good option. Another man as a bench player, a good, suitable rotational piece is this man right here. Garib, I think. I think. Point is though, I don't think you would need to more or less look for a wider player. Of course, you've spoken about Seko Fofana, and then another man here, Otavio. I would more or less look to try and convert him into the more attacking player, the more attacking midfielder of the three, because essentially, if you are going to be using the 4-2-3-1 and not the 4-3-3, he is a very suitable player for that formation. So therefore, to try and use him as much as possible, make him that central attacking midfielder. And again, you do have some solid players in and around him that can be used as rotational pieces. Onto the likes of Talisca. Now firstly, I would convert him into a right midfielder, even though he is a centre forward. With the instructions and whatnot in the tactical approach, you will see that you do try and get him into those attacking areas as much as possible. But in order to try and suit and fit the system at hand, making him as his first choice position being a right midfielder, it makes a lot more sense. And then finally, we've got the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, Sui. We've got Ronaldo, 38 years old, a great veteran, 86 overall. Goddamn shame. How are you allowing Messi to be a 90 overall and not Ronaldo? Anyway, point is, he's a really good player. You should try and look for an adequate backup. I don't think more or less any of these players that are, behind him can do a very good job in potentially replacing him in the lineup. So taking a look at some transfer targets that have been linked with a move to Al Nassr in real life, as well as some targets that I think could be a very good solid fit for this team. So it's a bit of a mix. Starting off with the goalkeeper, Keylor Navas. I think he would be a very, very good option to potentially either replace Ospina or, put Ospina on the bench. Just make sure that your goalkeeping area and department has been strengthened. So essentially, Ospina could be the backup with Navas coming in and being the out-and-out number one. But I will say this. He is in the final 12 months of his deal. He is only worth around $1 million to $2 million. So therefore, I think you can get him on the cheap, to be fair. Although money is never an option for a club like Al Nassr. Onto your right back area, like I spoke about earlier, they are looking to potentially replace Al Ghanem in the starting lineup. And they have been linked with a move to Emerson Royale, as well as Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now, I think both of these options are really good. More so the likes of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I think he would be an absolute hand-in-glove type fit for the Al Ghanem right-back role. Can get forward, but doesn't overly choose to do so, and he is very defensively solid. So, therefore, I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka is the better choice and option when looking for a better right-back. As for your centre-backs, now, a very strange one. I was actually shocked. I had to do a double take of, is this true? But apparently Harry Souttar was linked with a move to Al Nassr. Very strange. I will say that. Very, very strange. But nonetheless, cool. And then, of course, you've got the more, esteemed targets. Rafael Varane, also in the final 12 months of his deal at Manchester United. An 84 overall, 30 years of age, turning 31 soon. Does have some good playing styles as well, by the way. Anticipates an aerial. He can slot in right next to the likes of Laporte and form a formidable Spanish-French duo in the back line. Another player that they have been linked with is Casemiro. A lot of Manchester United players. I mean, it could be the workings of the new board at Man United, or it could just be that these players are looking to get a nice fat paycheck. Anyway, point is though, Casemiro linked with a move. Seko Fofana recently moving to Steven Gerrard's Al Ettifaq side. So, Casemiro could be the natural replacement in the summer for that role. Or potentially a move for Thomas Partey. Now, I think this could also work really, really well next to the likes of Brozovic. Both Casemiro and Partey could be very good fits. An 85 overall, some good playing styles as well. Press proven, long ball passer, as well as ping pass. Now, he could be a creative playmaker in that number 6 position next to the likes of Brozovic. Could work out very well. And then finally, Mohamed Salah on the transfer list. I don't know if he would go to Al Nassr, but apparently he is linked with a move to Saudi Arabia. Where he goes, I'm not too sure, but it could be. It could be Mane Salah link up with the likes of Ronaldo and Talisca. Oh my goodness me, that is a super team in the making. Now, he isn't actually I haven't seen anything solid linking him with the move to Al Nassr, but with the likes of Jurgen Klopp leaving Liverpool, you would assume Salah almost leaving Liverpool last season, that this would be the season where he does move on. So maybe adding Salah to the transfer list and maybe going and getting him wouldn't be so unrealistic. So just taking a look at the youth academy now, I don't really know where they are scouting, and I don't really know if they have the infrastructure set in place already for a youth academy, but how I would see it is start off in your own country, hence Saudi Arabia, scout for a few months, try and build up the youth for tomorrow, and then maybe look to try and extend to neighboring countries in and around Saudi Arabia. Now, let's talk finances. I've obviously given myself $100 million boost, as you'll see here with the pre-career mode instructions. I've gone with the extra 100 million. So I think it's a more realistic approach to add extra money, because we all know that Saudi Arabia is balling when it comes to the finances. Of course, there's no FFP rules and regulations to try and restrict teams, so therefore their ownership can spend as much as they want or please. So therefore, massive contracts can be given out, massive amounts of money can be paid for potential signings, with no real repercussions to it. So therefore, I think giving yourself an extra financial boost isn't that far unrealistic. So of course, the Al Nassr Stadium doesn't actually exist in FC24, so therefore you'll have to recreate it by choosing a specific stadium and also recoloring it. I've realized by you simply adding a bit of color, it does do a lot to the eye and, you know, creating that atmosphere of what Al Nassr Stadium is. Therefore, I've gone with a nice blue and yellow stadium. So for the stadium I've selected in-game, I've gone with the Stade Municipal. I think that's the best possible, you know, look to what Al Nassr's actual stadium looks like. And of course, it is slightly smaller. It's set to 25,000 seats. But I've called it the Al Nassr Stadium. I do know that it does have another name. I can't really think of it right now. I've just named it the Al Nassr Stadium. That's all I could actually find when researching and obviously recreating it. But nonetheless, in terms of the stands and stuff, for the same color, I've gone with that nice blue approach. It creates that nice, blue for the skirting boards and stuff. And then in terms of the seats, I've gone with yellow. Of course, the Al Nassr Stadium is very, very yellow, and it's got a bit of blue in it. So therefore, I think it's a very realistic build for a potential real-life recreation of their stadium. So there you have it, people. That is how I would start off a realistic Al Nassr career mode in the game FC24. As always, I hope you have enjoyed this. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys tomorrow.